Hey everyone, I'm Sarah. You know, your typical 17-year-old. Well, except for this chronic illness that's been kicking my butt for as long as I can remember. It's just been me and my dad, Mark, since Mom passed when I was little. We've always been tight. He's my rock, especially with all the hospital trips and meds. Life was pretty steady until Veronica walked into the picture. Dad met her at work, and she really turned on the charm. At first, I was happy for him. He deserved some joy. Veronica seemed cool, always bringing me little gifts. Sarah, honey, how about a girls' night? Face masks and that rom-com you've been talking about, she suggested one day. I was all for it. That sounds awesome. Maybe we could order pizza too, I replied. Of course, anything for my new daughter, she said with a wink. But something about that wink just felt off. Things moved fast. Before I knew it, Dad was down on one knee, and Veronica was flashing a ring so big it could probably be seen from space. Sarah, what do you think about having Veronica as your stepmom? Dad asked, his eyes filled with hope. I forced a smile. If she makes you happy, Dad, then I'm happy. The wedding was small, just close family and friends. Veronica moved in, and I tried to bond with her. We had family dinners where she asked about school, but something always felt a little weird. So Sarah, how's that science project coming along? She asked once. It's going okay, still working on the hypothesis, I answered. Well, don't stress too much, it's not like you're curing cancer or anything, she said, laughing, but her eyes stayed cold. Then came that one night. I woke up feeling like my insides were ripping apart. The pain was unreal. Dad, help, I cried out. He burst into my room, panic all over his face. Sarah, talk to me. What's wrong? It hurts, Dad. It really hurts, I whimpered. From the doorway, I heard Veronica. Mark, maybe we should wait it out. You know how dramatic teenagers can be, but Dad wasn't listening. He scooped me up and rushed me to the car. As we sped to the hospital, I caught a glimpse of Veronica in the rearview mirror. She looked annoyed, like my pain was ruining her night. At the ER, while the doctors worked on me, I overheard Dad and Veronica outside my room. Mark, these hospital bills are going to be insane. Are you sure this isn't just what, Veronica? Our daughter is in pain. Nothing else matters right now, Dad shot back. The way she said, sure of course, sent chills down my spine. Things got worse after that night. I was missing more school, and my treatments became more intense. One morning, I overheard them arguing again. Mark, these bills are out of control. We can't keep doing this. Veronica snapped. What do you want me to do, Veronica? She's my daughter. Dad replied. I'm just saying, maybe she's exaggerating a bit. For attention. I couldn't believe it. My own stepmom thought I was faking it. I wanted to march in and yell, but then another wave of pain hit me. I collapsed. Dad? Help. I called out. They both rushed in, but Veronica's face, she looked irritated, like I was an inconvenience. Sarah, again, don't you think you're being a bit dramatic? She said, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. Honey, are you sure it's not just stress from school? Dad asked, looking torn. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Are you kidding me? I can barely stand, I shouted. Just then, my best friend Alex showed up, thank God. Holy crap, Sarah, what's going on? Alex asked, rushing to my side. She's fine, just being dramatic, Veronica chimed in, rolling her eyes. Alex wasn't having it. She looks like death. We need to call an ambulance now. Let's not overreact. Veronica started, but Alex had already pulled out her phone. But Alex was already dialing, and soon we were at the hospital. The doctors confirmed what I'd been saying all along. My condition was serious, and I needed consistent treatment. Dad looked guilty, but Veronica, she played the perfect stepmom for the medical staff. Oh, doctor, we've been so worried. Is there anything we can do to help our dear Sarah? She asked, her voice dripping with fake concern. The doctor gave her a skeptical look. Well, for starters, bringing her in when she's in pain would be a good idea. I saw Veronica's mask slip for just a second before she plastered on another fake smile. Later, when they thought I was asleep, I overheard her talking to Dad in the hallway. Mark, this is getting out of hand. These treatments, the hospital stays. We're going to go bankrupt. But the doctors said. Doctors say a lot of things, Mark. They're just trying to make money off us. Sarah's young, she'll bounce back. Maybe what she really needs is some tough love. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Tough love. I was seriously ill, not faking it for attention. I don't know, Veronica. What if? Trust me, Mark. I've dealt with kids before. Sometimes they just need a push to overcome these things. If we cut off the treatments, make her face life head on, she'll thank us later. There was a long pause and my heart pounded so hard I thought they might hear it. Maybe you're right. We'll try it your way. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. My own dad, the one person I thought I could always count on, was turning his back on me because his new wife said so. As they wheeled me out of the hospital the next day, I caught Veronica's eye. She gave me a smile that sent chills down my spine. It was like she was saying I won. But you know what? Game on, Veronica. If she thought I was going down without a fight, she had another thing coming. I might be sick, but I wasn't stupid, and I sure as hell wasn't going to let her win this twisted game she was playing. After Dad and Veronica cut off my treatments, things went downhill fast. I tried to tough it out, but it was rough. One morning, I could barely drag myself out of bed. Sarah, get up. You'll be late for school. Veronica's shrill voice pierced through my door. I don't feel good. I think I need to stay home. She barged in, eyes narrowed. Oh, please. This act is getting old. Get dressed. I tried to explain, but she wasn't having it. As I stumbled down the stairs, Dad looked concerned. Honey, are you okay? Maybe you should stay home. Veronica cut him off. Mark, remember what we talked about? No more coddling. Dad's face hardened. Right? Sarah, toughen up. You can't miss any more school. I couldn't believe it. I felt like I was living in some twisted alternate reality. At school, I pulled Alex aside. Dude, I need help. They've stopped my meds, my treatments, everything. Alex's eyes widened. What the hell? That's messed up. We've got to do something. I'm scared, Alex. What if they put me in foster care? That's when Mrs. Rodriguez, my favorite teacher, overheard us. Sarah, Alex, is everything okay? Before I knew it, I was spilling everything to her in her classroom. Her face grew more horrified with every word. This is serious, Sarah. We need to get you help. But what can we do? It's my dad's word against mine, I said. Alex snapped her fingers. Evidence? We need to gather proof. Mrs. Rodriguez nodded. Good thinking, Alex. Sarah, can you secretly record what's happening at home? I felt a glimmer of hope. Yeah, I think I can manage that. For the next few weeks, I was like a secret agent in my own house. I recorded Veronica's snide comments, Dad's dismissals of my pain. It was tough hearing it all again, but I knew it was necessary. One day, I overheard Veronica on the phone while I was supposed to be napping on the couch. Yes, I've transferred another $5,000. No, don't worry, Mark has no idea. He thinks it's all going to Sarah's treatments. My eyes shot open. She was stealing from us. I quickly hit record on my phone, praying she wouldn't notice. Of course, I'll be careful. These idiots suspect nothing. I'll have the account drained in no time. I felt sick, and not just from my illness. How could Dad not see through her? The next day at school, I filled Alex and Mrs. Rodriguez in. She's stealing money too. This is insane. Alex was fuming and Mrs. Rodriguez looked grim. I've contacted your previous doctors. They're appalled at the situation and are willing to provide statements. I nodded, feeling a mix of relief and fear. Thanks, Mrs. R. I just hope it's enough. As we planned our next move, a wave of dizziness hit me. The room started spinning. Sarah, you okay? Alex's voice sounded far away. I tried to respond, but my legs gave out. The last thing I heard was Mrs. Rodriguez yelling for someone to call 911. When I woke up in the ER again, Dad was there, looking scared and confused. Veronica was trying to smooth talk the doctor. Oh, you know teenagers, always so dramatic. I'm sure it's just stress from school. But the doctor wasn't buying it. Mrs. Thompson, your stepdaughter's condition is extremely serious. Without proper treatment, she could now let's not exaggerate. Mark and I know what's best for our Sarah, Veronica interrupted. I saw Dad's face change. It was like he was finally seeing Veronica clearly for the first time. Before Dad could say anything, I felt myself slipping away again. As consciousness faded, I heard Alex's voice faintly. Don't worry, Sarah. We've got the evidence. We'll fix this. Just hang on. I wanted to tell them everything, the money, the lies, but the darkness was pulling me under. My last thought was, please let this plan work. I can't take much more of this. When I woke up again, I felt like I'd been hit by a truck. Dad was sitting next to me, looking like he'd aged 10 years overnight. Veronica was nowhere in sight. Maybe the witch finally flew off on her broomstick. Sarah, baby, I'm so sorry. I should have listened to you, Dad choked out, his voice heavy with regret. Before I could respond, the doctor stormed in, looking furious. Mr. Thompson, your daughter's condition is critical. The lack of treatment is borderline criminal neglect. I'm obligated to report this to the authorities. Dad looked like he was about to pass out. I didn't know, my wife said. That's when Alex and Mrs. Rodriguez burst in like they were leading a SWAT team. We've got proof. Alex shouted, waving her phone triumphantly. Mrs. Rodriguez, always the calm voice of reason, stepped forward. Mr. Thompson, Sarah's been documenting everything, the neglect, the verbal abuse, and the financial fraud. Dad's eyes widened in shock. Financial fraud? What are you talking about? Alex pulled up the recordings on her phone, and Veronica's voice filled the room, bragging about siphoning money from the family accounts. Dad's face went from shocked to utterly devastated. I can't believe this. Sarah, I'm so sorry. I've been such a fool. Just then, a nurse rushed in. There's been an accident. A woman named Veronica Thompson. My heart skipped a beat. Dad jumped to his feet. What happened? She was in a high-speed collision. Apparently, she was trying to leave town with a large sum of cash. She's alive, but she's paralyzed from the neck down. The room went dead silent. I couldn't help but think, Karma's Dad looked like he was going to be sick. I need to go see her. Dad, after everything she did. He shook his head. No, I need to tell her it's over, and that she's going to pay for what she did to you. As he left, Alex squeezed my hand. We did it, Sarah. You're safe now. The next few weeks were a whirlwind. My treatment started again, and slowly but surely, I began to feel like myself. Dad filed for divorce faster than you could say gold digger, and the cops were all over Veronica like white on rice. A year later, I was packing for college. Can you believe it? There were days I didn't think I'd make it to my next birthday, let alone college. Dad knocked on my door. Need any help, kiddo? Nah, I got it. Thanks, though. Things were still a bit awkward between us, but we were working on it. Sarah, I know I've said it a million times, but I'm sorry. I should have believed you. I sighed. Dad, I get it. She played you. She played all of us. But you came through in the end, and that's what matters. He nodded, tears in his eyes. You're stronger than I ever knew. As I zipped up my last suitcase, Alex popped her head in. Ready to roll, college girl? I grinned. You bet. Let's blow this popsicle stand. As we loaded up the car, I couldn't help but feel grateful. Weird, right? But this whole mess showed me who my real friends were. It showed me how strong I could be. You okay? Alex asked, noticing my spaced-out look. Yeah, just thinking. A year ago, I didn't think I had a future. Now, sky's the limit. Dad gave me one last hug before we took off. You show them what you're made of, kiddo. Now here's a question for you. If you were in my shoes, would you ever forgive your dad for choosing Veronica over you? Or is some betrayal too deep to move past? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm dying to hear what you do in this situation. And if you enjoyed this wild ride, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that'll make your jaw drop. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.